But the focus of this section is to really give you something actionable that you can take away. So when we talk about how you attract your ideal clients, I actually want to go through with you something very simple by using Fabian's business here as a prime example. But today I want to help you understand something which we call positioning. Positioning is actually the secret sauce that sets your business apart from your competitors. And I'm gonna break it down. So let's talk about the tale of two businesses. Now, Fabian, I don't want to tell your story for you, but you have to come up now. So you throw me into the deep end. I want to talk about, I just want to share very simply to everyone with HD, they're currently in the business right now, how you had to reposition it or what you did to make sure that people were very clear how this is different to, I think you guys passed about 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 restaurants to get here. Does that make sense, guys? But I just want you to talk about how HD is different compared to the rest and what the uniqueness is here. And I'll talk about it.
He did not tell me nothing about this, right? Okay, this is the game we're playing today. Watch how I drop you next. Okay, right. So I, very briefly, and I've told this story to a few of you who've been there before, is that I had no intentions of getting involved in the hospitality business. A lot of friends that I know, some of them are here who are in the hospitality business as well, who are not saying anything, Z, in the corner. Hospitality can be painful, right, Z? Yeah, it can be painful. And a lot of people that I've known have, even they've had moments of success, ultimately it's cost them a lot. But the difference here is that my partners came to me and were relentless. And every objection I threw at them, they had an answer back. And something within me said, try. But let me tell you something. At the beginning, tumbleweed was rolling through here. When I mean literally, we were standing at the front and trying to get people to come into the restaurant. And what is very interesting, and this is, research is so important. The O2 told us that you have to be here for at least 14 months to survive. So no matter what happens in this ecosystem, you have to be here 14 months. If you're not here 14 months, it won't happen. And I didn't understand what they meant. But what happens is that they understand the behavioral pattern of people. The other thing is that we were coming out of a period which we never experienced before, called COVID. So people had been very much used to being at home, but now they were desperate to go out. But they were desperate to go out to brands that they were familiar with. And in this ecosystem, they were not familiar with us. And so what happened for us at the beginning, our positioning was, my partners are Muslim. Everything that we have here is halal. We don't serve alcohol here. But when the design of this space, there was a couple of things which we agreed on, which would have a massive impact on what would happen for us as a business. The first thing was, we did not have a management office. Instead of having a management office, we created a staff room. No other restaurants in the O2 Arena have staff rooms. What happens is that there is an internal circle. If you've been to the O2 before, you go through the back, you'll see, and most people have tables and chairs set outside in this area. It's not safe, it's not hygienic, but they maximize space for food storage and so on like that. So in designing here, we wanted a place where staff could feel well. So we said, no management office. If we need management, we'll come and sit in the back or wherever it is. And that second thing, which was extremely dynamic, was a prayer room. So we are we are the only restaurant that has a all faiths prayer room, is what I would say. So it doesn't matter what faith you are, you can come here and pray. Throughout the pandemic period and in that transition stage, I didn't understand the importance of what that prayer room would mean to the workers of the O2. Forget the public. The workers of the O2 would come here and they would just be in shock. You would see people just literally just sitting down at the back. They were shedding tears. They were dealing with various aspects of life. And they found here as a place for solace. So when it comes to positioning and delivery, what we focused on primarily when things weren't going bad were what I call your pillar community. We focused on people of faith. So what we started to do is that where other restaurants were spending money on food influencers, our influencers were all Muslim and people of faith food influencers. Now what happened is that those influencers didn't have the following of some of the most popular food influencers, but you know what they had? A high level of engagement. So once they came in, their tribes and their followers started to come in, and they were, because we're a franchise, at the time they were familiar with the brand, but they didn't know the brand was here in Greenwich, in this side. So what we had is that we had followers coming here, and the O2 is a very strange place. It's a destination venue, right? You don't normally come to the O2 unless you're coming for an event, or if you have kids, you're going to be taking them out to go and do skydiving or something. It's a destination point. And so the next thing what was really important is that locally, the Greenwich Peninsula community, all those high-rises, they're often forgotten. Is where the guys here don't market to people who are on their doorstep. So we started finding community groups on Facebook. We started speaking to the O2 guys here, and we started reaching out to people who are local. These are all predominantly professionals and so on like that. So without going too long, that's how we switched our positioning to build our pillar community. And then our pillar community was a magnet for people who never came here.
The reason why I wanted to hear that story, if you notice in Fabian's talking about that, there wasn't that much conversation around the chicken and making sure the breadcrumbs were looking nice and good at 25 degrees. Are we making sense today? As much as the food is important, that has to be, we get it. What you're delivering has to be of a top-notch service. But the key thing you have to understand is that the brands that focus on what makes them unique and what their customers want are the brands that win. Are we making sense? Because those are the things that set you apart from everybody else saying they do something similar to you. The key thing I want you to understand, let me see if I can get this working today. The key thing I want you to understand is that the positioning is where you make the biggest bucks. And the reason why is because people want to see you as somewhere where they can get the goal that they want much faster. Is there a sense of ease around where you are and how you serve them? Do you have some kind of system that helps them get the results they want? And when they think about positioning, I want to talk about what we call the growth model. They say the winning zone is the place where what your customers want and what your brand does best is where you win. So the key thing here to understand is like, even with our digital marketing agency, I don't compete with my competitors. I'm gonna make it sense. Like, I'm not trying to be like them. I'm Leif, I'm a Christian, I'm a married man, I'm a family man, are you hearing me? So all of these things about myself are unique to me, and I'm not scared, and I'm unapologetic in telling you about me. Are we making sense? So when it comes on to you in your business, what are the things about you that make you unique? Don't be unashamed to share that. And also, when it comes on to what your customers want, focus there. And then whoever your competitors are doesn't actually mean nothing to you, because what you do will stand out to them because you care about what they want. If you hear about what Fabian was saying and what we're saying today, is that the businesses that win know their customers the best. And that's the key thing. As simple as it sounds, it's super essential for you today. So the key things I want to share with you is what we call the growth model, is that you're focusing first on a goal-focused plan. What is it that my customers want and how do I help them achieve it? You're then going to do the research to understand more about them deeply than anyone else. You want to make sure you optimize what you do with simple deliverables. Like, if I come to you and I want to learn how to grow my business, and business A does it in 12 steps, but you can get me the same result in 3 steps, which one's going to win? 12 or 3? Anyone? 3. Why would 3 win? Anyone?
Short,
simple. Are you with me? So like, we think sometimes as business owners, I need to take people through some long-winded process to help them get to the goal. Where if you can do it in a simple and a speedy way as possible, you will always win. You have to make sure you map out the customer journey. It's very important. So I know, Abby, me and you were talking earlier about what you do with the boxing, your boxing gym, etc. So it's like, how do I make sure that, for example, when I'm managing talent, like, what's the process that they're gonna go through me? How do they sign up? How do they know their contracts? When I'm creating deals, how do I actually manage the way that the deals are managed, and how am I transparent with who I'm managing so they know the numbers as much as possible, etc. For example, that's why we talk about transparent and simple understanding. They say that the average reading ability of the average person in the public is at a 12th grade in America. That for us is roughly about year 9. So they say the average person reads at a year 9 level. So when you're communicating from your website, from your business, when you're making video content online, you need to speak at a level that's not too convoluted and complicated. but it's simple and clear for someone to understand. And the last point before I go into our system is what we call high value pricing. High value pricing simply means that for you to deliver the service and you put your profit on top of it, is your business going to survive with the pricing that you charge to your person that you're working with? Am I making sense? You'll be so surprised. Me and Fabian have seen this over the years. When we work with businesses, so many people undercharge for their services, like very commonly, like undercharge to the point where you're having to like overwork yourself to work with more people, where if you get very specific, remember what we said, goal focus plan, researching to understand, if you get very specific as you understand, I'm actually solving that problem for those people, then you can start to charge more because you create a plan that's very specific and tailored to them. So that means that when Joe Bloggs comes and hears, for example, in our business FlowConverts, we're very good at working with B2B, e-commerce, B2B SaaS. So for some of you, you're like, wow, what does SaaS even mean? Are you with me? But for the person that's a B2B SaaS or that's in tech, we do very well. If someone is a fintech company, I do very well. We do very well with working with fintech companies. That's why my brother Z, Abby, you know, XBD Pay is a B2B SaaS product. Are you with me? So that's the best. Why? Because of our experience, our knowledge, our know-how. So when I'm speaking the language of B2B SaaS or finance, I can use certain language that those people understand more uniquely, that although it may ostracize some others, it's fine because I know who my ideal customer is. Are you with me? Then I'll be able to charge effectively because I can get to the solution very quickly. I'm gonna make it sense. This is what we call the growth model in regards to positioning. Positioning simply is, and let me see if I can get the graphic, sorry, Fabe, to show you. Okay, positioning is this. There's multiple businesses that do something similar to you. Positioning says, I'm gonna carve out a space in your mind so that when I need this problem solved, your business is the one that I call. Am I making sense? Right? That's why we're going to have a beautiful panel today of different types of businesses so you can see how within their market and who they speak to, they become the person that are the go-to individuals within their space. That's why we picked the individuals that we picked. So brand positioning fundamentally just means trust. In other words, if I want this problem solved, can I trust you? And if I can trust you, then I'm going to go to you. Am I making sense? And this is why it's actually incumbent upon you. It's essential for everybody in here to make sure they communicate what they do online as much as you possibly can. Are you with me? Like, don't feel ashamed to share your story, to share what you do, to talk about how you get results for people. It's the unapologeticness to who you are that actually makes people want to work with you. And remember that people do business with who they know, like, and trust. Are you with me? We call it the KLT method. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. So if people, the more you communicate online, the more you communicate with others, the more you network. And I know, Fabian, at the end, we're definitely going to talk about networking and some of the things you do. Absolutely. But Fabian's been able to build a global network because of that KLT method. And I want to show you through what he's going to share earlier, why it's important. So, yes, Fabian. Before we get into, so for example, when someone goes to our website, you see some of the clients we work with, how we're able to generate leads for our business. So we have FlowConverts, which is a lead generation agency. This is how we basically communicate online, what customers say, and how we've actually increased leads in their business. And I want to go through the system that we use just to make it super simple for you. So we call this the FlowConverts Lead Gen System. And there's 3 aspects to this system. We call it number 1, which is foundations. Then we go into funnels, and then we go into flow. And I want to break down what this means, these 3 steps. Now, with foundations and funnels, if you tap it again, Fabe, what we're trying to do is we are trying to increase leads into your business. The lifeblood of a business is the amount of leads they're able to bring in every single month. Am I making sense? So if you don't have a clear system to bring in leads into your business, some say you don't have a business, or you know that you have a struggling business. And who in here doesn't want a struggling business? That makes sense. I'll give you an example. A lead generation tool we use is this event. I'm making sense? This is a free event that you guys are coming to. And as a result, there could be someone in this room that we may or may not do business with. And even if we may or may not do business with, you now know more about what we do. Am I making sense? So this is a fantastic way for you guys to also use this method, and I can show you 2,000 other more methods, not 2,000, more like 20, yeah, that are fantastic to generate leads, all right? The next one, Fabe, when you get your funnel right and you have flow, that helps to increase sales. So you want leads to come into your business, and of those leads, you're going to generate sales. It will make sense, right? Then the next thing you want to do, when you get your flow right and your foundations are solid, that's when you now have revenue. Revenue also is another lifeblood of the business. You need these three, LSR, leads, sales, and revenue. If you don't have all three, your business will struggle. And this is why so many people struggle in business, is because, do you remember in the beginning, delivery positioning, they're focusing so much on what they're delivering that from a positioning standpoint, they're not focused on, all right, how am I different in the market? Then the next thing they're not doing is they're not focusing first on making sure on a monthly basis, I have leads coming into my business. If you don't have leads coming into your business, you will struggle as a business. You're going to, let's say, go on, favor.
So one of the reasons why we know this is because our first business together failed. We had to close it down. And it wasn't for lack of success. Within the first 12 months, we turned over £100,000. But why that failed was because we had this really great idea to put on these kind of events, and our target was really focused. We were positioned on startup businesses, and for those businesses, all we wanted to do was to impact 100 businesses in 12 months. That was our goal. And every month we put on an event, we saw more businesses that we could impact. The more businesses we saw, the more clients that started to come up. But do you know what we didn't have? We never had a continuity plan. We didn't think that. We knew we couldn't do events continuously for the rest of our lives. And what happened is that we were so happy and overwhelmed by the businesses that we had, we started focusing on the clients and we stopped focusing on lead generation. And what happens then is that you start to build this momentum where you're so focused on delivering your services that you forget that a client can stop needing your service. A client can move on to someone else. No matter how hard you work for a client, business may not be going well for them in other aspects of what they're doing. And so we came to a point where we'd worked for a year, we built up tax bills, we built up costings, we built all of these things, we had all these clients, and then the clients started paying less and started dropping off. And then real life started kicking in. And we started realizing that this business thing is not a joke. Now let me explain something to you. We've been working together. This is our 7th year of working together. Prior to that, I've been working for many years, but I can tell you this, knowledge is not given. Nobody has a right to knowledge. What you see on Facebook and Instagram with these people telling you that in 5 minutes, you can also be a drop shipper earning £10,000 a day and all of this stuff, right, that they are selling is nonsense. Because I promise you, if I could drop ship and make £10,000 a day, I'd have no time to do Facebook ads because I'd be enjoying my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, social media is the greatest movie reel, right? It's a highlight reel. It is not reality. It's the same as Love Island isn't real life. It's scripted, but we get so invested in it, right? No, I say, Andrew. You think it's real, innit? You really believe that's how life is, isn't it? I mean, there's some mad people who are living Love Island life, but that's a whole different workshop, right? But seriously, like, what I wanted to explain to you, especially when it comes to this with our lead generation system, is this. We realize businesses don't fail because of bad ideas. Businesses fail because they don't understand the complete ecosystem of business. It's like a relationship. People think when they start dating that all of their life in a relationship is the same as when you first start dating. You speak to people who've been in relationships for a while, that dating thing, you got to work on that, right? Like, then real life kicks in. And it isn't as sweet as that. Why? Because in business, just as in dating, anybody you work with will put their best foot forward first. Wow. They will tell you all the deals you're going to hear. They're going to say profit is going to be smooth. The same way that guy tells you that, yes, I can take you Novikov every month. Then after the second date, is crackers and rice. Yeah, because real life kicks in. Them £300 dinner bills are not sustainable when it isn't hitting the way it should be hitting. It's the same way that business are based on relationships, and in order and statistically, you want to have as many leads as possible in order to maintain new and existing relationships.
So the key thing we want to share with you is this system. We're using this system with all our clients. So this is the exact system. We're not trying to sugarcoat or hide anything. When we talk about the foundations, there's 3 things that you have to make sure you get tight. One is, who is your ideal customer? You know this is a given. You've heard it many times before. The second thing that so many people don't do is their messaging. Like, when I'm speaking to you, how are you different? How are you unique? What makes you the person that we should work with over someone else? And that's why I've learned, do not hide what is unique to you, whether it's what you believe in. You might even politically have some opinions. You might be someone married or not married, or you like to travel or not travel. Are you with me? Josh is laughing at me. The next thing is your offer. We call this the irresistible offer. If you ever seen the movie The Godfather, in the movie The Godfather, there's a famous saying where it says, I'm about to make you an irresistible offer that you can't refuse. Irresistible offer is an offer so good that when someone hears it, they feel stupid to say no. That's simply put what we mean. Am I making sense? But remember that to make an offer irresistible, it can't be for everyone. It has to be for your ideal customer. Am I making sense? The second thing is your funnel. So there's 3 things, if you touch it 3 times, Fabe, is your content. To have a clear funnel, you need to create content, because content is the tool that drives people into your funnel. Then you have to build authority. Does everyone know? When I say funnel, does everyone know what we mean? Simply put, it's a combination of pages that you put together in a sequence that takes someone from being a prospect to becoming a lead. Lead meaning someone you can contact. When we use the term lead, that's all we're saying. Now, there's 2 types of leads. There's a lead, which is someone you can contact, and there's what we call a warm lead, which is someone who you can contact but actually knows about you. Am I making sense? Right? They're very 2 different people. Someone you can contact is like, yo, let me pick up someone on my phone and say, yo, Wagwan, how you doing? Am I making sense? A warm lead is, yo, I actually want what you sell, but I just need to know more information before we go over the line. Am I making sense? What we all want in this room is warm leads. And one of the best ways to have warm leads is by creating content that differentiates you, positions you as an authority in regards to what you talk about. Am I making sense? Right? So when we talk about authority, this is your blog content, your video content that goes on even more. This is making sure you are doing partnerships, podcasts, you're going on other people's platforms, you're doing events like this. We're bringing up a panel, for example. Am I making sense? So this is not just we are in business and we're only going to speak about what we do. We're bringing in others. And the last thing is, on this funnels piece, is lead magnets. When I say lead magnet, does everyone know what I mean? Yeah? So a lead magnet is a event or some type of physical or digital product that you use that allows someone to say, get in touch with me. An example of a lead magnet, you know, when you're on Instagram and you scroll down and someone says, sign up for this checklist, or sign up for this PDF, or join my webinar at X amount time. Does that make sense, guys? All of those are what we call lead magnets, because for you to get access to the thing that they're trying to give you, you have to give them your personal information. Does that make sense? So we call it a lead magnet. It's something that you give to someone that draws them in, so you give them your personal information. Am I making sense? Every single person in this room has to have a lead magnet for you to generate leads into your business. And the last thing is flow. And in the flow section, this is where we do advertising. So think about paid advertising as a prime example of that. This is where we're focused on sales. So this is making sure we have a clear system to generate sales. And the last one is delivery. Now notice where delivery sits in the process. Does it sit at the beginning or at the end? Anyone? At the end. It's not because delivery is not important. It's because if you don't have the foundation right and you have leads coming into your business, it doesn't matter what you're delivering. Like me and Fabian showed you, we had our business over 100 plus grand a year that we generated and more. We did over 250 plus people at our events and the business failed. Why? Because we didn't have a clear way to generate leads. So when everyone comes up today and we're speaking to these people who have their businesses, we just want to go deeper into their story and hear from them. But I really want you guys to give them your undivided attention. We're going to take a 5-minute break. But I hope this system gives you some insight into what you can do today to really help you think better about how you can have more leads in your business so you can have a sales system that generates you leads. Thank you so much. All right, family? Okay.
Okay, great. So